What if a moment that seemed completely ordinary was actually hiding a story we were never meant to fully understand? Hello ARMY. At first it looked simple. Just two figures walking casually across an empty stage. No roaring crowd, no dazzling lights, no overwhelming concert energy. Just silence and two members of BTS and yet, within that simplicity, something felt different. A short video that initially seemed ordinary quickly spread across social media. People watched it without expectations, but somehow it was hard to look away. There was a feeling that couldn't quite be explained, as if something deeper was hidden between the seconds. In the middle of a stadium filled with empty seats, the atmosphere felt almost melancholic. A place usually alive with thousands of voices now stood silent, creating a striking contrast. At the center of it all were two global icons, appearing for a moment like ordinary people, simply enjoying a quiet break. Jungkook, wearing a blue jacket, held a microphone loosely in his hand. At times he seemed to sing softly, or perhaps just test his voice, almost as if he had forgotten that a camera was capturing everything. Beside him, Taehyung stood calmly, dressed in a brown jacket, sipping a white drink without any sense of urgency. Nothing dramatic, nothing excessive, and that's exactly where everything began to change. ARMY started noticing the smallest details, things that might have easily gone unnoticed at first glance. The distance between them felt closer than usual. Jungkook's smile didn't feel like just a casual smile. There was warmth in it, something difficult to define. Then came a small gesture, a light touch on Taehyung's back or shoulder. It was brief, almost invisible if you weren't paying attention, but its impact was undeniable. Was it just a natural reflex? Or was there something unspoken behind it? Interestingly, Taehyung didn't seem surprised. He remained relaxed, occasionally glancing at Jungkook with an expression that was hard to read. Was it a subtle smile? Or simply an illusion created by the camera angle? Questions began to flood in. Comment sections, forums, and long analytical threads were filled with people trying to break down every second of the video. What made it even more intriguing was the context. This wasn't part of an official performance. It wasn't a scripted TV appearance. It was a rehearsal, or perhaps just a quiet moment during a hectic schedule. And because of that, many believed what they were seeing was the most genuine version of their connection. No script, no filter. But was it really that simple? Some saw it as proof of a deep and sincere bond. They remembered BTS's long journey, from trainees to global superstars. Jungkook and Taehyung are not just group mates. They grew up together, faced challenges side by side, and shared countless unseen moments. But others saw something more complex. Why did Jungkook's reaction feel different this time? Why did that touch feel more personal? And why did Taehyung seem so comfortable, as if this kind of interaction was something familiar? Was this just perception amplified by emotion? Or was there a subtle shift happening beneath the surface? That short video felt like it opened a door that had long been closed. Every movement was analyzed, every expression interpreted. Even the way Jungkook held the microphone or how Taehyung sipped his drink became topics of discussion. Some pointed out that Jungkook seemed more relaxed than usual, as if he had momentarily let go of the pressure of being BTS's golden magne. Others noticed how Taehyung appeared more open, more responsive to Jungkook's presence beside him. And in the middle of it all, one question kept echoing. What is really happening between them? Many began connecting this moment to past interactions, on-stage exchanges, lingering glances, even old statements that suddenly resurfaced. Everything started to feel like pieces of a puzzle slowly forming a bigger picture. But does that puzzle truly exist? Or is it simply an illusion created by the desire to find meaning in every detail? What is certain, however, is that this moment created an overwhelming wave of emotion. Excitement, confusion, warmth, and wild speculation all collided at once. And perhaps that's where the true power of this video lies. Not in what is seen, but in what is felt. Jungkook's bright smile, Taehyung's calm presence, and an empty stage silently witnessing an interaction that has now become a global conversation. There were no long dialogues, no dramatic actions, just presence, closeness, and a single touch that could mean everything or nothing at all. But if it truly meant nothing, why does it feel like something changed? As time passed, the video continued to be replayed, analyzed, and discussed from countless perspectives. Some tried to remain objective, while others allowed their emotions to guide their interpretations. And through it all, one thing became clear. This moment left a mark. Is this the beginning of something bigger? Or just a coincidence blown out of proportion? Maybe we will never know the full answer. But in a world where every detail can become news, even the simplest moment can turn into a phenomenon. And in this case, two figures walking side by side on an empty stage managed to create something far greater than just a short video. Yet just when it seemed like the conversation might begin to fade, something unexpected happened. New clips began to surface, different angles, slowed-down versions, zoomed-in frames. Each one added another layer of intrigue to what was already an emotionally charged moment. How could something so quiet continue to grow louder in the minds of millions? In one slowed clip, Jungkook's movement drew even more attention. The way he stepped slightly closer to Taehyung didn't seem accidental to some viewers. It felt subtle but intentional. Was he trying to say something without words? Or was it simply the natural rhythm of two people who have spent years sharing the same space, the same stage, the same life? The deeper people looked, the more interpretations emerged. Some noticed a shift in Jungkook's expression just before the touch, his smile widening, his posture relaxing, as if he had briefly let his guard down. Others focused on Taehyung's reaction, or perhaps the lack of one. No surprise, no hesitation, just quiet acceptance. And somehow that made it feel even less simple. Because if it truly meant nothing, would it feel like this? Even the empty stadium became part of the story. A place usually filled with deafening cheers now stood silent, almost symbolic. Without pressure, without expectations. Could it be that in that silence something more authentic was revealed? Or is that exactly what the moment wants us to believe? There is something powerful about silence. In a world filled with noise, music, performances, endless content, silence forces attention. It magnifies the smallest details. A glance becomes a statement. Touch becomes a question. And in just a few seconds of quiet interaction, everything turned into a storm of interpretation. Longtime fans began revisiting older moments. Had this happened before? Had Jungkook always been this way around Taehyung, and people just never noticed? Or was this truly different? Memories resurfaced, past concerts, behind-the-scenes clips, spontaneous interactions that once felt ordinary. Now they were being seen through a completely different lens, as if the past itself was being rewritten by the present.